Now let's discuss the first two sections of Song of Myself with the topic I Celebrate Myself. When Leaves of Grass first appeared in 1855, the author was not named until about the middle of the first poem in a very immodest line. Walt Whitman, an American, one of the roughs, a cosmos. Apparently, Whitman wanted to incorporate his narrative voice into a larger realm of idioms, as if he was not describing himself, but was inscribing a culture from within. A reading of his notebooks of 1847 to 48 shows that a vast, tremendous, and all-assimilating scheme lies behind his Song of Myself. My right hand is time, my left hand is space. Both are ample. I'm vast. It also says, I'm the poet of slaves and of the masters of slaves. I'm the poet of the body and I'm the poet of the soul. I'm the poet of the strength and hope. I'm the poet of reality. I'm for sinners and the unlearned. I'm the poet of the little things and of babies. I'm the poet of equality. Whitman's mind is oceanic. His imagination is enormous. He wanted to bring all American experiences into his poetry. By playing a profound pun with I, Whitman's I here in this poem functions both as a seer and sayer, thus obscuring the relationship between the poet and the reader. He even wrote, now, I stand here in the universe, a personality, perfect and sound, all things and all other beings as an audience at the playhouse perpetually calling me out from behind my curtain. Whitman's essential purpose was to identify his self with the social, or more specifically with the democratic en masse of America. The meaning of the poem, therefore, turns out to be inexhaustible. Its images become multiplayer and resonant. Its form is free and processive, and the self appears to be both lyrical and epical. Song of Myself, Section 1. I celebrate myself and sing myself. And what I assume, you should assume, for every atom belonging to me as good belongs to you. Beginning with these lines, Song of Myself ends with these lines. Failing to fetch me at first, keep encouraged. Missing me one place, search another. I stop somewhere, waiting for you. This you remains in the poem to and through the end, though the I is almost always in the foreground. Not many poets before Whitman have made so much of the reader as he does throughout Leaves of Grass. Like most of the Romantic poets of the 19th century, Whitman was also preoccupied with the sense of self-consciousness, using the self as his poetic persona. But even in his earliest poem, Whitman's myself is interchangeable with yours. He is trying to dissolve the I by emphasizing whatever joins the I to the you, the surrounding world, and whatever makes the I like you, the other human beings in general. I loathe and invite my soul. What is the I that invites the soul? The body, of course. In terms of the relationship between the body and the soul, Whitman proclaims in this poem that I'm the poet of the body and I'm the poet of the soul. But his soul first appears as something apart from the body. So he says in a very relaxed tone that I loathe and invite my soul. The soul is like something O substantial earth body. So he says, clearing sweet is my soul, and clearing sweet is all that is not my soul. The soul and the body seem to be of equal importance to Whitman. So in this poem he also says, I have said that the soul is not more than the body, and I have said that the body is not more than the soul. And that is why Whitman wants to sing of the soul and of the body. I lean and loaf at my ease, observing a spear of summer grass. A spear of summer grass. This simple, separate leaf of grass remains the dominant image throughout leaves of grass. The most fundamental meaning of this spear of summer grass comes from the characteristic of grass to grow not only in single blades, but also in cluster of blades. The grass thus becomes the graphic representation of Whitman's central idea of democracy. Individuality in balance with the massive, distinguished singleness in harmony with the massive grouping. The grass commands the poem's central position and symbolizes in its simplicity the miracle of the universe. The mystery of life, of existence, of being lies not far away in the exotic and mythical, but in the near at hand, in the familiar and common. The grass recurs in strategic sections where it springs to the fore with renewed life and gathers the meaning of the poem into its splendor, vital spears. Therefore, the spear of summer grass may serve as the object of contemplation in launching this mystic journey. So if the poet can understand the miraculous mystery of this simple, separate spear growing around the world, he can then come to terms with the meaning of the universe. One provides the key to the other. I believe the leaf of grass is no less than the journey work of the stars. My tongue irritating of my blood, formed from this soil, this air, born here of parents, born here from parents the same, and their parents the same. Here in these two lines, Whitman not only speaks for America, but also for a whole humankind. His self, therefore, is not only deeply rooted in the real existence of America, but also merges into the timeless flow of life. Prison schools in abeyance, retiring back a while, suffice at what they are, but never forgotten. I harbored for good or bad, I permit to speak at every hazard, nature without check with original energy. Christian schools refers to second-hand knowledge, not original knowledge. In abeyance means not being used at present time. What Whitman wants is to speak at every hazard, nature without check with original energy. In other words, in order for nature to speak with its original energy, all man-made objects, such as houses, rooms, clothes, etc., must be forsaken for the time being. In section 1, Whitman announces three important themes: the self, the identification of the self with others, and nature without check with original energy. The transition here is clear. By way of continuation, the last line of section 1 suggests the theme of the second section. Now in section 2, the self declares its independence of civilization, which is represented by the houses and rooms. The poet then indulges in a catalogue of the scattered and diverse phenomena of nature and the ecstasies of the self in nature. Houses and rooms are full of perfumes. The shelves are crowded with perfumes. I breathe the fragrance myself and know it and like it. The distillation would intoxicate me also, but I shall not let it. The atmosphere is not a perfume. It has no taste of the distillation. It is odorless. It is for my mouth forever. I'm in love with it. I will go to the bank by the wood and become undisguised and naked. I'm mad for it to be in contact with me. In this passage, the poet breathes in man-made perfumes, but he prefers the smell of nature. Houses and rooms refer to the schools, religion, philosophies, literature. Perfumes are their modes of thought and feeling, suggesting something unnatural, man-made, not original. The atmosphere is the thought and feeling excited in a healthy and free individual by direct contact with nature. To be naked is to strip off the mental trappings from civilization. The symbolism in this passage suggests the opposition between experience from books and experience from nature. The passage of lines 21 to 29 is one of the few passages in Song of Myself that sound lyrical. Whitman celebrates here each of the 5 natural senses: the smoke of his own breath, the bust whispers he hears, the smell of hay in the barn, the touch of a lover in a few light kisses, a few embraces, or in the reaching round of arms, and the sight of the play of shining shade on the trees. He feels his own strength in his health. And healthy senses, he says, are essential to a healthy individual, suggesting that it also produces a healthy nation. And this section ends with the following lines: Stop this day and night with me, and you shall possess the origin of all poems. You shall possess the good of the earth and sun. There are millions of suns left. You shall no longer take things as second or third hand, nor look through the eyes of the dead, nor feed on spectres and books. You shall not look through my eyes either, nor take things from me. You shall listen to all sides, and filter them from yourself. As I have mentioned, that America had long been calling for a new poet. And here we see that ever since the very beginning of his career, Whitman had actually assumed for himself the role of a poet-prophet, the primitive seer, the American frontiersman of democracy. Whitman opened up an unlimited space for American poetry.